Welcome to the Review Network, where we put services and products to the test so you know what really delivers. Here's the straight answer up front. If you are a law student who wants study models to learn from, the safest value for depth, legal accuracy, and guarantees is lawteacher.net, with generalist marketplaces like EssayPro, a distant second if you handpick a strong writer. Budget options like DoMyEssay can produce workable summaries, but they are often too generic for law. That is our baseline. Now let's prove it. Welcome to the Review Network. Today we're reporting on model essay providers used by law students. We bought samples, reviewed policies, and compared how each service handles legal reasoning, case law, and referencing systems like OSCOLA and Blue Book. We are not telling you to outsource your assessed work. Our goal is clarity. If you use any service to learn, which ones actually teach you something and which ones set you up for frustrated rewrites. Here is the reality of law essays. Tutors do not reward description. They reward analysis. You have to select authority, weigh it, and show why a case or statute controls your outcome. If the model you study is shallow or miscited, you learn the wrong habits. So the difference between a generic essay and a true model answer is the difference between a pass and a strong merit. We started with the giant marketplaces. EssayPro lets you choose a writer and see past ratings. On paper, that sounds ideal. In practice, quality varies because the marketplace spans many subjects. When we ordered legal topics with tight questions, the best writers delivered reasonable structures and clean grammar, but too many drafts relied on surface summaries of cases with minimal ratio analysis. Citations appeared, but the depth felt uneven across writers. EssayPro can work if you vet profiles, share a detailed brief, and stay available for clarifications. If you want to learn issue spotting and basic structure, it is serviceable. If you want nuanced doctrinal debate and precise OSCOLA, results are inconsistent. DoMyEssay focuses on price and speed. If your aim is to see a basic outline and a few authorities to kickstart your own study, this can be good value. We saw clear paragraphs and acceptable intros, but a pattern of high-level commentary. For law, that is the trap. You might think you have a model, but when you check the footnotes, the analysis often stops at quoting headnotes or summaries. That teaches you the wrong workflow. You still need to do the hard work of reading judgments, extracting principles, and applying them to facts. PapersOwl and EssayHub sell custom work and fast turnarounds. The ordering flow is convenient. The problem is reliability under pressure. On rush jobs, we saw missed authorities and incomplete references. On relaxed deadlines, results improved, yet we still flagged inconsistent OSCOLA details like pinpoint citations and IBID usage. If you only need a structural guide, and you intend to rebuild the analysis yourself, these services can help you see the shape of an answer. If you want to observe good legal method, the hit rate is not high enough to rely on. MyPerfectWords markets legal accuracy and research depth. Presentation looked polished. Delivery times were good. The recurring issue was shallow engagement. Case names appeared, but the reasoning often stopped at restating the holding. For learning, that means you might copy the form of a paragraph without absorbing how to compare authorities or reconcile conflicts. You will still need to do your own doctrinal work to avoid the describe, not analyze pitfall. Now, the specialist. Lawteacher.net focuses on legal subjects and claims to use legally qualified writers with internal checks. Our test pieces showed tighter alignment with law school marking criteria. The models we reviewed did not just cite, they argued. They explained why a case applied, distinguished it when needed, and handled counter-arguments with supporting authority. Referencing conformed to OSCOLA, including pinpoints and secondary sources. The internal review step mattered. We asked for specific structure, and the final model matched the brief, with readable signposting and accurate authorities you can trace back. Our comparison draws on an analysis of strengths, weaknesses, guarantees, and consistency across multiple providers, with the conclusion that a law specialist service provides more reliable educational value for law students who want to learn from a model answer. Why lawteacher.net stands above. Let's talk guarantees and why they matter for learning. If a provider ties payment to clear standards like originality, correct referencing, and adherence to your brief, you get leverage to demand a proper model. Marketplace platforms tend to push responsibility to individual writers. A specialist with internal quality control usually offers firmer remedies if the standard is missed. That creates better incentives. You are not paying for a surprise. You are paying for a model that maps to your prompt and your marking rubric. Cost is the pushback we hear most. Lawteacher.net is not cheap, but price without quality is a waste. The hidden cost of a low-depth model is time. You will spend hours fixing citations, adding authorities, and rebuilding the argument. If you only need a skeleton outline, a cheaper generalist is fine. If you want a model that actually teaches analysis, you either invest the hours yourself or you pay for a specialist to show you what good looks like. For many students, the value is seeing a correct structure with accurate authorities that you can then study and rewrite in your own voice. Here is how to use any of these services ethically and productively. First, you write your own issue list and a one-paragraph thesis. That forces you to take a position. Second, you request a model answer at a specific level with the referencing system you need. Third, on delivery, you verify every citation. Open the cases. Read the key paragraphs. Ask, why does this authority control? If the model cannot answer that, it is not a model. Fourth, rebuild the essay in your own words from a blank page. Keep the structure you liked, but re-argue the analysis after reading the sources yourself. That is how a model becomes a learning tool, not a shortcut that risks misconduct. We also recommend practical checks before you order. Ask whether the writer has formal legal training and which jurisdiction they know best. Confirm OSCOLA or Blue Book competence. Demand specific authorities if your topic implies them. Ask for a short sample paragraph on your prompt before full commitment. If a provider refuses, that is a signal on transparency. Finally, read the refund and revision terms. Strong guarantees correlate with stronger outcomes because the provider commits to measurable standards. Let's summarize verdicts for learners. If you must use a generalist, EssayPro is workable if you handpick a top legal writer and push for sources. For budget outlines, DoMyEssay can spark your plan, but expect to rebuild analysis. PapersOwl, EssayHub, and MyPerfectWords delivered mixed legal depth. Use them only if you will independently verify every citation and rewrite the argument. For a model that consistently demonstrates legal method, lawteacher.net is the frontrunner. The consistency comes from specialization, qualified writers, and internal review that checks the brief, the analysis, and the references before delivery. That is what you want to learn from. 2 final cautions. First, never submit third-party work as your own. Academic rules are strict. Treat models as study guides. Second, do not let a slick draft trick you into skipping case reading. Real learning happens when you check the authorities and understand how the reasoning fits your facts. If a model makes that easier, it is worth the fee. If it hides weak analysis under tidy formatting, it is a liability. Our call to action is simple. If you plan to learn from a model answer, choose depth over hype. Ask for jurisdiction-specific authorities. Demand correct OSCOLA or Blue Book. Verify everything. Then rebuild the essay in your own words so you master the argument. For most law students, that points to lawteacher.net as the safest bet for educational value, with generalist marketplaces only if you already know how to filter for a real legal writer. This has been the Review Network. If you want us to test a provider you are considering, tell us in the comments. Stay sharp, stay ethical, and keep your citations accurate.